Hello guys, welcome to part 2 of Naruto, Rebirth of the Yellow Flash. First of all, this story doesn't belong to me. I'm just narrating it, so if you want to read the full story for yourself, then go down in the description and you will find the link to the story. That being said, let's get into the video. The title of this part is The Beginning. Hiruzen was suffering from a headache at the moment from doing all this paperwork throughout the night without even a wink of sleep. Last night, after the information of Naruto's secret was revealed to the village, he had been disturbed all night long by civilian after civilian, telling him to either banish the demon or kill him until Hiruzen had reminded them of the law in effect. Every single one of them had planned and ran off when Sharutobi pulled out a glimmering kunai and threatened them to implement his law then and there. Today, Hiruzen was panting, patiently awaiting the arrival of his student Joraiya alongside Kakashi Hatake, who Hiruzen had called through his thought summoning to tell him of Naruto's condition and to see if any one of them would like to keep Naruto's custody. Speaking of Naruto, Hiruzen speaking of Naruto, Hiruzen had just had Anko take care of him and fed him. He was glad to see that the hyperactive Konoichi looked so good with children. Plus, she was the only one he would ever trust with Naruto's care. Anyways, she knew the burden of carrying a curse and respect the fourth Hokage above all else. As for now, Naruto was sleeping peacefully. The sight made Hiruzen smile, and he had told Anko that she could leave and go rest for a few hours until he had called for her aid again. Instead of being gloom, she seemed charmed at the chance of spending some more time cuddling baby Naruto. Seeing Naruto snooping away in those bosoms mountain of heaven, Hiruzen had been envious of the boy for reasons he would rather not admit. After she would have left, Hiruzen had opened up the letter that Minato left in his care to read if certain conditions were met, and sadly, with all of those conditions had been made just as Minato had once feared. Dear Hiruzen, if you are reading this letter, then I am afraid my fears have come true, as I have already told you of the two skulls that I left for Naruto. This letter is meant for you, Naruto, and the eyes of the elders of the Toad clan only. I have left you as the legal guardian of the Namikaze clan until Naruto inherits it. I know if the conditions to read these letters have been met, then sadly Naruto will lead a very lonely life. I fear that no one will want to be tied down to take care of Naruto, much less adopt him. That is why I want you to admit Naruto to the best orphanage that you can find and pay for them from the Namikaze family account if need be. Tell Pa and Ma to make him the next Toad Summoner after you tell him of his heritage. He will need their strength to protect himself in the future, for I fear the perpetrator of tonight's incident will return for his life. Also, it's a good news that Naruto wouldn't suffer the curse of blindness caused by the Mongekyo Sharingan because of him having the healing abilities of the Namikaze and the stamina and chakra of both the Senju and the Uzumaki. Don't tell Jiraiya or anyone this fact, and make sure you tell Naruto about it once he is old enough and to understand his burden and be there to explain how his eyes work. Help him master his eyes as they will in turn help him control Kyuubi's soul, since I fear Kushina wouldn't be there to train him, and he will need all the power he could conjure up to protect himself from the masked Uchiha who invaded the village tonight. The Toads too will help him to control his power since they have the scroll he will need to learn his powers. I don't want Jiraiya to adopt him because he will make up a silly argument on how Naruto is a child of prophecy. Please have him raised as a child and not a tool. Sarutobi, I know he will wish to do so with Narumi and Mito as well. I don't want Naruto to be burdened with such things at such a young age and live a childhood that I couldn't. I try to keep my daughters away from the prophecy too, if you could. I want my children to have a normal childhood and to have their innocence kept intact for as long as you possibly could. Protect him, if nothing else, Hiruzen, as far as last favor to this dying father and friend. I am leaving my legacy in your hand, old friend. Minato Namikaze, M.N. Hiruzen put down the letter and took off his glasses. He cleared his clouded eyes shut and held back his tears. He sealed the draft back into the scroll until the time came for Naruto to open it once more. For now, though, Sarutobi walked to Naruto's crib and smiled as he brushed his finger on the baby boy's whiskers. Naruto purred in the delight in making Hiruzen chuckle softly. It seemed as if they were quite sensitive. Suddenly the windows opened and Kakashi and Jiraiya walked in. I was waiting for you too, Hiruzen said, unimpressed. Come on in. He motioned them in. Both hopped in and stood in front of the table. Hiruzen lit his pipe and gazed over the window. So you took the seat, huh? Sarutobi Sensei. The kid left his hat way too early, Jiraiya whispered mournfully. Hiruzen nodded in agreement. That he did. He agreed, still looking out the window, sighing. Jiraiya, Hiruzen started. Minato has left a great burden upon my shoulder, a burden which Kushina doesn't wish to see reason to, she admitted, and Jiraiya looked at him confused. Hiruzen said nothing to elaborate and pointed towards the crib where the soft snoring could the soft snore of a boy resonated from both. Kakashi and Jiraiya walked over the crib and couldn't help but gasp in shock. Sensei! Jiraiya gasped. Is this his son? Jiraiya started. Sarutobi nodded in affirmative. Why is he here then? Jiraiya thundered. I thought Kushina gave birth to two daughters and not a son as well. She told me such when I sent her a summon last night, but she told me that she was leaving today at the dawn for the fire capital. If he is in fact her son, then why is he here? Jiraiya naturally had to ask. Jiraiya Hiruzen smiled sadly and continued on. Gazing out the window, she blames him for the death of Minato. Jiraiya Hiruzen didn't mind his words. She looks at him like as if he is the Kyuubi's reborn. Kushina is looking for some reason to blame someone to blame and vent, and has sadly chosen the little Naruto as her culprit. Last night she disowned him and even threatened to kill him. Now, Uzuraya, I wish to ask for you. Will you adopt Naruto Heroes and drop the bomb? I know that you have a spy network to manage, but we can set up a timetable for it. I can have someone I trust help you with little Naruto. So, what do you say, Jiraiya? Will you accept him? Hiruzen asked hopefully. He honestly thought without a doubt that Jiraiya would accept the boy willingly to honor his apprentice's last wishes. I'm sorry, Sensei. Jiraiya apologized from a pit of ice in Hiruzen's stomach. The village needs my spy network more than ever now, and I am not extremely father material. I like to travel to research and write my books. Plus, the great Toad says has given a new prophecy. Pa and Ma told me that just last night. It says the powerful sprouting born from two strong leaves shall lead the world to peace, and its enemies shall fear the look of his red eyes as he gazed upon them to protect what he is precious to him. And I know for a fact that it has to be either Narumi or Mito. They fit the description perfectly, and they will even have the red eyes once they channel the fox's chakra, just like Kushina did. I will have to put all my time into nurturing them. So being with Naruto will be difficult. Jiraiya apologized sincerely. I hope you understand, Sensei. The future of the world takes priority over the life of a single child. You of all people must understand. Jiraiya tried to make him see reason. Hiruzen didn't even bother turning around to face him as his heart broke into two at hearing his student's admission. Minato, you really did see through all of their hearts beforehand, didn't you? Even I didn't know didn't know my students' nature, and yet you still saw right through him. Hiruzen thought sadly. I see, was all Hiruzen could say at the moment. Jiraiya was happy that his sensei was understanding his reason. After all, the world didn't prophesize over Naruto, prioritize over the world didn't prioritize over Naruto, even though he didn't like doing it. What will you do then? Kakashi Hiruzen switched his words to the Jonin monetarily. Lord Third. Kakashi bowed his head. I want to return to the duties of the Anbu. I have to get over my grief for losing yet another person precious to me. Naruto looks too much like Sensei, and the time I wouldn't have the time to look after him with my missions. But I promise I will watch over him from the shadows and even become his Jonin Sensei when he grows older. He promised. That's quite a ways from now, Kakashi, Hiruzen remarked pointlessly. Kakashi nodded, knowing full well what the man was trying to imply. That it is, sir. To be honest, after everything I had heard, Hiruzen wasn't even surprised anymore. I understand. Hiruzen waved his hand, dismissing both of you are dismissed. He dismissed them, and just as both left the office, Hiruzen closed his eyes and sighed. I think you have heard everything. Hiruzen questioned simply on no one in particular. Two small toads came out of the shadows of the wall, tapping their canes to show their displeasure over the matter. Yes, yes, we did. Pa clapped. Annoyed, I will admit, I never expected Jiraiya boy to leave Naruto-chan just for our prophecy and his discarding habit. He has fallen in respect for the toad's great the respect of the toad's great elders. We came up to check on young Naruto-chan, but I never imagined that Kakashi would forsake her own But I never imagined that Kushina-chan would ever forsake her own children, even if it is grief that that has it is griefful that has clouded her eyes. Ma admitted somberly. Neither did I. Hiruzen sighed. The Leaf village too has disappeared. Minato-chan's wishes for Naruto-chan to be seen as a hero, Pa said with steel in his voice. The leaf has fallen from the grace and honor it once used to hold. Back in the day when Shirama-chan and Tobirama-chan used to guard its regions, Ma spat Hiruzen smiled, thinking of those times and knowing that they were right. This is really wasn't the same village anymore. Its founders would have been ashamed of what their visions became in wake of their deaths. What do you wish to do now? Hiruzen asked the two toads. They looked at each other and nodded. We shall remove Joraya-chan from the Toad summoning contract effective immediately. Pa trapped his cane discriminately. He has fallen from the ways of our clan. We will make Naruto-chan our new summoner and we shall pledge our loyalty to him and only him, not to the leaf. Bonta also said that he was exhausted to fight alongside. Excited, Bunta also said that he was excited to fight alongside the child once he was older, that is, and wanted to become his familiar. He wishes to introduce him to his sons to Gamakichi and Gamatatsu. We shall be loyal to the leaf so long as Naruto-chan intends to protect it and no more. He declared his loyalty to the third Hokage, but the Toad have been allies with the Leaf for Hiruzen tried to protest. Ma interjected. The great Toad says believes him to be the child of prophecy, and we do too. She admitted. Minato-chan entrusted us the key to his ears cell and asked us to give it to Naruto-chan when you deemed him ready. There are many things that Minato-chan left at Mount Miyaboku for him to inherit. We shall give it to the boy after he becomes aware of his heritage, she said in an iron voice. Pa and Hiruzen nodded in agreement to her words, but Hiruzen couldn't help but worry a little. The leaf had taken yet another lesson. The leaf had taken yet another loss, several loss in power by almost losing the only powerful battle summoning contract left in the leaf in the village. If not for Naruto, the snake contract was with Orochimaru, with Anko only having a partial contract to them, and the slugs were loyal to the Senju and the Uzumaki only, and Hiruzen could only would wonder how long the heirs of the Shikutsu would remain obedient this trust, to this truth. Kushina and Tsunade were the only summoners left, and they too were not active shinobis of the village. Hiruzen wondered if taking the seat had indeed been the right thing to do with all the power vacuum left in wake of Minato's death. Hiruzen looked at a little Naruto with a smile, knowing full well the boy would be a thorn in his backside and caused him a lot of paperwork when he grew up. He was already really important to the village as the last of the Namikaze and the only summoner to the legendary Toad clan, only as Jiraiya had now, as Joraya had been expelled from the contract. He thought about his student's reaction when he realized that his contact on which he was so heavily reliant was nullified. He watched silently as Ma and Pa walked up to Naruto's crib and Pa picked him up. Naruto woke up from his sleep with a cute yawn and gazed at the weird toad with wide droopy eyes as he tilted his head to the side. Pa held him in front of his face, both intently and glazing into each other's eyes. Well, Naruto-chan, he settled him a bit more snugly in his arms. Would you like to be the next Toad Summoner? Pa asked him with a smile. Naruto laughed with a clap, thinking it was funny, and hugged him. All of them chuckled in unison. I think that's a yes, isn't it? Sarutobi said. Ma and Pa nodded. Said Ma and Pa. Said Ma and Pa nodded. What say you, Sarutobi? Pa wondered. Hiruzen smiled. I think yes as well. Ma walked up to Naruto just as Pa finished silencing Naruto, clinging Naruto's little thumb a little, forcing it to bleed, and started writing his name, Naruto Namikaze, on the summoning scroll. He slapped a handprint over his scroll and roughly slammed the print on the paper to make sure it was done right. Naruto sniffed a little from getting his thumb cut, and as if on Queen Ma blasted Pa on his high head while he yelled, "Oi!" Impatiently. "You idiot!" she thundered. "You cut too deep. Look, you made him cry," she roared when Naruto sniffed again, and Ma chuckled, plucked him up from the ground and rocked and called him. "Oh, Naruto-chan is a brave boy, isn't he? Isn't he?" She scolded the boy. The boy giggled emotionally, forgetting his pain while his thumb healed almost instantly. Hiruzen was wide-eyed at the speed with which it healed, as was Pa. It seemed that the QB gave him a healing factor. Pa had come to the same conclusion as Hiruzen had, and was equally shocked as well. He wished to ask what will become of little Naruto and who will look after him from here on out. However, what are you going to do about young Naruto's nurturing? Sarutobi Pa wondered. Where will he live? Hiruzen sighed and plumped down on his chair, feeling well beyond his years. I want to keep him with my eyes, yes, but I have way too many duties now. Seeing their disapproval look, and even if I did want to keep him, the council would raise hell over it. They decided last night that none of the clans would adopt him in fear of them raising the QB to gain power, and none of the civilians will adopt him for obvious reasons, so that leaves only the orphanage. Hiruzen added, to save his face. What of his accommodations? Ma asked. I will try and find him the best orphanage there is, and even pay them some extra money to keep him safe and well treated. I will have Kakashi and my other Anbu check up on him from time to time. I made a law for our people not to tell the young generation for his burden, so that he may be able to make friends. I will visit him as often as I could, but it will be difficult to take out any more time after he is 6. After he is 6, I will have him entered into the academy, after which he will graduate at the recommended age of 12. That is what I have planned for him. His father made sure he would have the money to live well. His father made sure he would have the money to live well, and I will give it to him monthly as a speed until he claims his fortune in order to keep his identity under tight trap. Hiruzen explained, and Ma and Pa nodded satisfied. We too will check up on him regularly, they told Sarutobi, but we shall not reveal ourselves to him until the time is optimal. I wish you luck, Sarutobi, and we trust that you will take care of our summoner. They asked him, and Hiruzen smiled. I will do what I can, Hiruzen promised. Pa nodded and tapped his cane as both he and Ma left in a puff of smoke. Hiruzen began checking through the files and various records of the orphanage in the village to try to find one with the best comforts for him to offer. But that issue was only secondary for now. Hiruzen needed to find a place where Naruto would be accepted fully. He began going through files after files, rummaging through them, and eventually finding none that would fit his requirement completely. Sarutobi groaned. This was going to be a long day. Time skip 4 years. It was the 10th of October, the day the QB festival, and the whole village was filled with decoration, and the moral was running his Memorial was running him. Is in the street. A small blond-haired boy with light blue eyes and whisker marks on his face was walking through in the slide the festival had to offer. The festival had to offer. The boy is our hero, Naruto. Naruto was running out the streets in joy. He came up to several stalls, played games, and ate several delicious things. The merchants were from different villages, so they didn't throw him out, or did talk, or even talk to him rudely for that matter. Many of the villagers were glaring loudly at him, but the boy was too happy to notice. He was walking through the crowd when he was suddenly pushed into an alley, and Naruto looked up to see three men with straight white eyes looking at him, probably blind, while Naruto got up and dusted himself off. Can I help you, mister? He asked him politely. Thought the man grew furious. Yes, you can die for me, demon, he yelled. They ran towards the blonde with a kunai, and Naruto took off his fledge. They clashed him they clasped him as he waved, ducked, and ran through the alley, and then saw a fence in front of him. He jumped on the wooden box, then on a big open dumpster, and then over the fence. Naruto turned to see the men and how far they were, but watched in horror when they threw a surely of 10 kunai knives at him, and Naruto felt fear clutch his chest. How was he supposed to dodge them mid-air. Naruto's heart started accumulating, blood pressure increased, and he unconsciously challenged a huge pressure of chakra to his vein behind his eyes. As soon as his eyes were flooded with enough chakra, the world around him grew sharper. He could even make out where the wings of insects flying in the air, and saw that the kunai knives that were too fast for him to grasp now appeared to be slow to about to be moving towards him in slow motion. Confused, Naruto grabbed onto one of them mid-air and started deflecting the rest of them. He managed to deflect 7 of them, but wasn't able to finish the last one, even though he could agree anger that they were a lot slower than he was. One of them, which lorded itself in his launched itself in his right shoulder, the other in his left thigh. Naruto howled in pain and fell down the cloud back into the corner of the dead end and the alley and brought his knees to his chest defensively. He curled up into a ball, knowing he couldn't escape now. Naruto whimpered and waited for the pain to come just as they started kicking his small body, and his cries for help were drowned in the loud music adorning the festival behind this hell. Did you see his eyes? One of them explained as he launched another kick. Yes, seems as if he has the Sharingan. Is he an Uchiha? The other one asked. No one has activated the Sharingan at so young an age. The demon must have stolen them from a corpse. Sever him right. Serves him right that we are here to witness its true color. The third on the third one devised, and they started kicking him even more vigorously. Naruto couldn't do anything but take it all. It hurt so much, but why were they hitting him? He wasn't a demon. Was he? His mind closed in on itself as he numbed out of the pain and fell unconscious, but they continued beating him, not badly by his poor state in the slightest. Bothered by his poor state in the slightest, they wanted to kill him slowly and worriedly became the sight his line and will become the silent heroes of the village that avenged their savior on the night of his noble sacrifice. Avenged their savior on the night of his noble sacrifice. Now then, let's finish this, said the first man, who was about to stab Naruto in the head before he was stopped by a wave of killer instinct. Turning around, they saw an Anbu wearing a visual mask standing behind him. From the mask, a well developed Sharingan could be seen, and all three Tomoes were spinning dangerously at the villagers. What is going on here? Asked Anbu. Well, you see, Anbu-san, we are finishing what the fourth started. You should take the last hit as he stole your clan's Sharingan. As he stole your clan's Sharingan, said another villager. As soon as he said that, the Anbu waved through Hansil at lightning speed and shouted, "Fire style, great fireball jutsu!" A large fireball escaped his lips and completely engulfed the villagers, killing them at the spot. The Anbu then rushed to Naruto, who was being who was beginning to wake up. Looking up, he saw the Anbu's Sharingan and said, "You got very cool eyes. You got very cool eyes, mister." The Anbu looked at Naruto and gasped. A boy no older than 4 years old had activated the Sharingan. He is the youngest person to ever awaken the dojutsu. Naruto then turned to look at the Anbu with fearful eyes and said, "Are you going to hit me as well?" Naruto thinks that the Sharingan is beautiful. The side note: if so, please kill me. That way I can go to my daddy and live with him. As he said that, he fell unconscious again, this time barely holding on to his life. The Anbu immediately picked him up and rushed to the hospital. Upon reaching the hospital, he shouted, "Nurse, it's an emergency." A nurse quickly rushed but stopped when she saw who the Anbu was holding and screamed, "Take that thing away. We don't treat the likes of him." As soon as he said that, a wave of instant killer instant flooded the whole hospital, causing all of the staff members to hold a collective breath. The Anbu then said, "I am going to ask you one more time. Treat him before I kill you and your family." As soon as he said that an insurance yell came. "You can do that." "Oh, but I can." Constantly to the law, according to the law of the third Hokage, any person against Naruto, any prejudgment against Naruto, any method of ward demon in public will be executed without trial. Now, would you want that? The Anbu calmly asked. The staff then shook their heads and took Naruto to an operating theater. The Anbu stopped releasing his killer intent and said, "Nico, go get Inutashu and inform of what happened to the Hokage." Another Anbu with a cat mask nodded from disappearing into the shadows. A few minutes later, the Hokage, with another Anbu with silver hair and a dog mask, rushed where the Anbu was standing and said, "Whistle report." "Hi, Hokage-sama. I was taking my normal parameter check when I saw that Naruto-kun was being beaten senselessly by a mob of villagers. I immediately asked them what was going on, to which they said, I quote, 'We are finishing what the fourth started by killing the demon.' I immediately set a giant fireball jutsu on them, killing all of them. I then went up to Naruto-kun and brought him here, while first he was refused treatment, but after a little convincing they began to treat him. After that I sent word for you and Inutachu to come here," said Whistle. Anything else happened?" asked the Anbu. Whistle sighed and motioned both in his captain motioned both his captain and the Hokage to come closer before whistling in a very low voice. It seems that he has activated the Sharingan. I saw it clearly. He had the Sharingan with one tomoe in each of his eyes." Whistle then hardened his glaze and said, "What exactly is happening, Hokage-sama?" Hiruzen sighed before saying, "He is the fourth son. Be sure not to tell this piece of information to anyone. It also includes the fact about his Sharingan. If I hear you telling it to anyone, I will kill you. This is an SS rank secret. Do I make myself clear?" "Hi, Hokage-sama," said Whistle as the door to the operating theater was finally opened and a doctor walked out with a big frown placed on his face. How is he, doctor? Asked Hiruzen. He is stable. We prevented him from getting any permanent damages. Hilton is also healing. The tent is also healing him quickly than most. Though I question as to why some of the villagers would beat up the kid so young so badly, replied the doctor. Can I see him? Asked Hiruzen. That you may. He should be up in a couple of hours, replied the doctor as he turned and left the tree. I want both of you to watch the boy in the room. I am going to the office to send some shadow clones. I will be back in 1.5 hours. Said Hiruzen to the both of the Anbu, who wordlessly nodded and disappeared into the shadows. 2 hours later, hospital room. Naruto's eyes fluttered open, and he sat up and yawned before looking to the side and spotting on Hiruzen Sarutobi looking at him with worries and sadness. How are you feeling, my boy? Does it hurt anywhere? Asked Hiruzen as he moved and sat beside Naruto. I am feeling fine, old man. Just a bit sore. By the way, can you tell me why do the villagers hate me so much? Asked Naruto. I don't know, Naruto said Hiruzen. It hurt him a lot to see the blonde ball of sunshine so quiet. It seemed as if a part of his innocence had left him completely. Old man, am I a demon or a monster? Asked Naruto in voice barely above whisper. Naruto looked at him. Naruto, look at me. You are in no way a monster. You understand me? I am the Hokage, the most knowledgeable person in the village. If I say you are not a monster, then you are not a monster, said Hiruzen, to which Naruto smiled a genuine smile and said, thank you, old man. Could you please ask Mr. Anbu to come out? I want to thank him for rescuing me, said Naruto as he looked down shyly. Naruto, how do you know he is here? Asked Sarutobi with a shocked expression. I don't really know. I just felt him here, and I recognized his presence from back when he saved me, said Naruto with a shrug. Unbelievable. He's a natural born sensor. He really is your son, Minato, thought Sarutobi. You can come out, Whistle, said Hiruzen, and Masked Anbu came out and said, hello, Naruto-kun, thank you for helping me, Anbu. Son, you are the best after Gigi, said Naruto. The whistle Anbu only nodded his head before disappearing in a puff of smoke. Old man, during that beating for a few moments, I noticed things slowing down, like I could see their movement as if it was moving in slow motion. Asked Naruto with cute light on his head or to lift you called cute asked Naruto with cute tilt of his head to the left. Hiruzen couldn't help but smile. It seemed that the boy had not lost all of his innocence. He then he said that my boy was your Keke Genkai. That my boy was your Keke Genkai that you inherited from your dad and awakened it with another title for his head, Naruto said. What is a Keke Genkai, old man? Chuckling, Hiruzen said, it's what is Kikia Genkai, old man? Chuckling, Hiruzen said, it's Keke Genkai, Naruto. They are basically ability that a person inherits from his parents. You got yourself from your father. Immediately as he said that inwardly cursed, he said he had he dug him into a difficult position. Old man, you knew my father. Can you tell me who he was? Did he love me? Naruto asks in a coil for fashion. Hiruzen could hear the discretion in Naruto's discretion in Naruto's voice. The people had treated the boy so badly that he thought no one loved him. Yes, Naruto, I knew who your father was. He was one of the Leaf's greatest hero ever. I can tell you about him right now, as he had countless enemies who will leave it at nothing to harm you. And yes, Naruto, he loved you dearly. I hadn't seen any father to be so excellent about exact. I hadn't seen any father to be so exact about raising his son. You should have seen him, said Hiruzen with a smile, hoping that Naruto wouldn't push father. All right, old man, but you will tell me everything, wouldn't you? Asked Naruto. Of course I will, Naruto said. Don't you want to be a ninja? That way you will be following the footsteps of your father and the fourth, said Hiruzen. Yes, I want to be a ninja. I will surpass the fourth and make my father proud of me. Then I will take your hat and become the strongest of all Hokages, said Naruto with a foxy grin. I am sure you will, Naruto. Now get some rest. I will take you back to the orphanage tomorrow, said Hiruzen. Immediately he saw Naruto's smile turn into a frown, and once again he had a feeling of dread built up in his stomach. But Gigi, the orphanage kicked me out a week ago. They said that now that I am old enough, I can live alone, said Naruto. Hiruzen sighed tiredly at that and said, "It's okay, Naruto. You should get to bed. We will figure something out about your accommodation and training tomorrow. Good night," he said as Naruto smiled and nodded before rolling over and sleeping. Once outside the room, Hiruzen said, "Inu, go visit the orphanage and get all the worried wardens. Inu, go visit the orphanage, get all the wardens to Ibiki and have him question them. If anyone is even remotely involved in hunting Naruto, execute them without trial." Hi, Hokage-sama, said Inu as he disappeared in a puff of smoke. "I am getting old for this shit," said Hiruzen as he sighed and made way to his house. Wow, that was a really sad chapter. I almost cried in a few times. But that's all for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you wanna be notified for the next part, then the best way is by subscribing and turning on notifications. Then you will be the first to be notified when I release the next part. Bye bye.